Call them the Yamagoa line, the BYOB line, the BYB line. Call them whatever you want, regardless. The top line, along with the rest of the Seattle Sea Cattle, are good to go for another season. These are the lines moving forward. As pointed out in the last episode, Yamamoto has gone from medium top 6 to high top 6, now to medium elite. The problem is he's 25 years old, so I'm not expecting that much development. However, with Belfour, Tunnell, Rogalski, the forward core is looking so good. We've gone over this so many times. It's just defensively that we need to see improvements, and I'm just not thinking that's going to happen. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. How good will this team be? How well will this team do? Will we find success in the draft? The answer is probably no, outside of the top round, which is a gimme every time. So, I'm intrigued to see what happens. We're jumping right into it today. There's not too much more that we need to say or do to hype up this season. We're good to go. You know the team. You love the team. At least I love this team. It's just now a matter of waiting to see how it all plays out. The 2024-2025 season. Whether or not we hit 10 wins, 15 wins, 20 wins, doesn't matter when we will still have the number one odds, at least. We will have the number one pick. More than likely, we've had terrible success with that. Even if we get the number one pick, are we going to get exactly who we need? Probably not. But still, how will this play out is the question. And I'm excited to find out just how it will play out. So let's do this, shall we? As we already have 2 wins this season. Can we make it 3 before the end of October? Can we get on to a good point pace is my question. Yes, we can. We beat the Vegas Golden Knights 3-2 before losing to the Bruins in a shootout. Okay. All right, yeah, let's beat Philadelphia. 4-6-2 record. Make that 5-7-2. What is going on? We have 5 wins already. The Sea Cattle might be closer to playoff contention than you thought. I'm kidding. We're obviously still going to be terrible, but you get the point. Now, I'd say the main thing to pay attention to, we know Oshie's in the 80s at this point. Defensively, there's not much we can really look at in terms of, hey, will this prospect develop? It's now more taking a look. I'd say the spotlight's on Jake Bengoa for this season. Started off this year at a 76. If he can hit an 80 overall by the end of this season, that would be tremendous. I want to keep, I guess, let's call them the Yamagoa line for the moment. I want to keep them together, of course. But if Tommy Tunnell continues to make, the improvements that he has been, he's already getting up there. A former first-round pick, of course. If he continues to improve at the same pace, we might have to make a decision in the future. But, of course, the morale system's not on, so maybe not. Maybe we can leave Tommy Tunnell on the second line. And yes, I know we have 15, make that 16 wins already. 17. Oh my God. Okay, let's stop this. Happy New Year. Oh my God, we won again. January of 2025, and we have an 18, 17, and 3 record. Where are we in terms of the playoff structure? We're 3 points back of Arizona for a playoff spot. Trent at least is nearly a point-a-game player, 30 points in 38 games. How on earth is this happening right now? You know what? Let's not get overhyped. Let's not get overhyped. We won't take a look at the stats. We won't take a look at the standings. I am holding left trigger, but it's not registering. Let's just move on. We'll see how this goes. Who knows? Maybe me stopping the sim there has allowed EA to take a moment and say, hey, never mind, screw this team. You're not winning anything anymore. And that might be the case, as we have lost 4 straight. So if anybody jinxed it, it's my fault. That's why we're not going to make the playoffs this year. Yeah, we're starting to lose a ton of games. Maybe I did jinx it by stopping the sim. We won our first game this month, and now we have plummeted back down to reality. So it is probably a good thing that we didn't waste all that much time when it comes to, of course, taking a look at stats and all of that, taking a look at the standings. The pipe dream is over. It was just that. It was all a dream. Although, a couple of shootout losses, you never know. We lose enough games in a shootout or overtime. Crazy things could happen if we catch fire yet again. Although, the last time we won a game was against Vancouver at the start of last month. We do beat the Hurricanes, so there we go. The most ridiculous losing streak. Not the most ridiculous losing streak. I suppose that would have been an 0-82 season that we've had before. Not in this series, but we have had 0-82 seasons before. You get the point. It's fine. We're doing better, which is what we expected. We certainly didn't expect to be battling for a playoff spot come January. We finally came crashing back down to reality, and I am okay with that. Let's go ahead and scout out. Let's go defense for another 6 weeks, and of course we'll go goaltending for the next 6 weeks after, and hopefully, somehow, some way, there is a steal or 2 or 7 on defense. Give me some options. That's all I'm saying. I'll take medium top 6 defensemen. That's fine. That would be a drastic improvement to end up with numerous medium top 6 defensemen, as opposed to, the medium 7ths in the AHL top 2s, or worse, that we have been dealing with as we just shut out the Boston Bruins 1-0. 3 straight 1-0 finals, and we beat Philly 2-1 in the shootout. We're up to 23 wins on the season. Of course, no playoff hockey for the Sea Cattle, but we do finish the season. Will it be 24 or 25 wins? We're going to have to wait a moment to find out. The scouting is done. So the one thing that's nice about this series is the fact that we're under 7 minutes, or closing in on 7 minutes into this, and the season's over. It's like a Mets season. It's all it takes. 7 minutes. I'm sorry, that's such an old played out joke. It was funny 10 years ago. Maybe not now, though. As we beat the Florida Panthers 1-0, as we finish with the season, the season with 25 points. Tremendous. 25, 44, and 13. What a run. What an effort for the Sea Cattle. 63 points. You would have to assume as Trent just fell off a cliff. Our goal scoring fell off a cliff once we hit that midway point. Suppose my question is, best team in hockey. Actually, some teams still have a game to go, so hold on. Let's go ahead and sim forward one more day. I thought that might be the case. So let's do this up to advanced day, and then we'll double check with all of this. Beautiful. So Trent, again, was our leading scorer with 48 points, but that's certainly disappointing considering he had 30 points in 38 games, a second half of the season collapse. Chicago wins the President's Trophy, and way down at the bottom will we find the Sea Cattle. Oh my God. I had a feeling it might be the case when I saw that we had 63 points for the first time since this series has really gotten underway. The Seattle Sea Cattle have not finished in dead last. The Boston Bruins. Of course it was going to be the Bruins that we beat. They finished the season with 61 points, so I was right. The OTLs certainly helped us out, but we are heading into this draft, and again, for the first time, without a guaranteed top 4 pick. That is scary. That's all it would take. 3 teams could easily move up and knock us way the hell back. Hell, 2 teams could move up and knock us way the hell back. So this will be interesting to see how it plays out. We had the worst offense in the league. Our goals against average, though, was not the highest, which means Oshie has improved. It was still top 10, but the Bruins were considerably worse. Our power play percentage was absolutely abysmal, but not the league's worst. Montreal and Arizona, what the hell are you doing? And our penalty kill was at 80.3, so again, not the worst in the league, but still bottom 10. 12 wins at home, 13 on the road. We finished the year on a 3-6-1 stretch. Overall, I'm not complaining. Let's take a look here, though, at our player stats. So Trent may have capped out at an 89, 48 points this year. Chuck Lorentz with 37, 36 for Kyler, 36 for Tommy Tunnell, and Stephen Bishop. Belfour was up there as well. Stevie B's striking again. I'm calling them the Killer Bees, even though they're not on the same line, and you have to deal with that. Sutter with 33 points, and then from there, a drop. Jake Bengoa. He's not really developing. He's still okay for this series, but he's kind of capped out a little bit, which is very scary, as Josh Oshie killed it, 925 save percentage. Christopher Frazier has also capped out. He is not going to develop. He has a 901 save percentage in 18 appearances, so there are some question marks moving forward for this team. Victor Markov, the winningest goaltender in the league for the Blackhawks. Let's take a look, though, at rookie scoring. It's going to be Raymond Vichy. Horkoff, though, I suppose, has an outside chance at 62 points. I would expect it to go to LA's franchise center. And around the league scoring, Connor McDavid leads the league. The only person to break 90 points, and he also broke 102 points on the season. The goal-scoring king was Tarasenko at 48. Marshall Legg was also up there with 47. Jake Dotchin? Hey, Jake Dotchin. He never fails. He never disappoints. Jake Dotchin, the ultimate enforcer, although Gene Monador, oh my god. Never mind, he might be the ultimate enforcer. That's insane. Absolutely insane. The NHL's Iron Man, PK Subban. Bishop, though. Look at Stevie B. Killing it. Absolutely killing it. Face-offs won went to Zibanejad by a pretty big differential there over McDavid. The hit king was Morgan Riley. The block shot king was Juleson, so Crane kind of dropped down a bit. Most giveaways went to Santini. The most takeaways, Bear Khan. Right, I would still say that McDavid is going to win the Selke, just for the amount of takeaways and the face-offs won. But Bear Khan might make it. My guess is still McDavid. And the fight king, you already knew, Jake Dotchin. Jake Dotchin. I don't know what it is, but this game adores you. It just does. In terms of whether or not I've edited the rosters or not, Jake Dotchin is the ultimate goon. Like, we don't need a competition. We don't need a poll. There's no debate to be had. There's no weird I'm making an Ultimate Gamer on Sci-Fi reference. Shout out to 2009. We don't need any competitions. We have our ultimate goon, and it's Jake Dotchin. That's just how it goes. Yeah. I think it was WCG Ultimate Gamer on Sci-Fi. That show was the shit. It really was. Check it out if you haven't. It was something. It was kind of gimmicky, but it was something. I enjoyed it. Maybe it was just because I was really into Gears of War 2 at the time. But boy, the excitement of every week. What game is the competition going to be based in? And then if I knew the game, I was like, oh, fucking right. I'm pumped. I think they did NHL one time. Or maybe it was Madden. And I'm like, man, I'd smoke everybody, even though I probably wouldn't have at the time. Because I was just a cocky person. Still kind of am, really. Not really, I'm kidding. Nothing says humble like saying, I'm not cocky, I'm humble. I'm losing my mind. It's fine. It's cool. We're just ranting and raving, because who cares about the playoffs and Toronto winning a cup? Right. Like that's ever going to happen. Shout out to Toronto, though. You know what? I don't care what their team looks like. You don't get this moment in the sun. You know why? And I talked about this on Twitter and Twitch. You scumbags. You absolute scumbags. There's a spectrum. There's the notice me spectrum. One side of the spectrum is, hey, for the love of God, notice me. The other side of the spectrum is, please, for the love of God, don't notice me. A prime example of the please, for the love of God, don't notice me campaign, or, just an example of that. I don't know where the hell the word campaign come from. Point being, Claude Julien being fired on the day of the Patriots Super Bowl parade is a great example of please don't notice me, whereas Winnipeg going to the Western Conference Final and the Leafs choosing that day, the next day, to announce Kyle Dubas as their GM is like, hey, look at me, little man syndrome, even though we're fucking Toronto, we're the biggest goddamn team in Canada, look at us, yay. I'm sorry, but it's pathetic. So, Toronto wins the cup, I'm not going to give them any attention. Aside from the 30 to a minute and a half, 30 seconds to a minute and a half of attention I just gave them. Connor McDavid wins the Art Ross and the Hart. Rasmus Dahlin wins the Norris in Edmonton. I am intrigued to know how many points he had. McDavid wins the Lady Byng. Vinny Vediveschi wins the Calder. The Conn Smythe went to Wise. Matt Murray, the Vezina, and the Jennings. Santini with the Masterton. McDavid wins the Selke again. The Ted Lindsay to McDavid. And the Rocket Richard, for the second year in a row, goes to Vladimir Tarasenko. Nicholas Hansen wins Defenseman of the Year, and aside from that, of course, there aren't that many familiar names. Fine, I'll take a look at Toronto, who beat Vancouver in 7. Right, that'd be a hell of a Stanley Cup final. I'm kidding. Who would ever want to see that? Not me. Let's take a look at Toronto. I'll stop taking shots at Toronto and such, but I'm sorry. Just it was sad. You're better than that, Toronto. You're better than that. You did bring Ryan Spooner to a Stanley Cup, though, so I guess I can respect that in a way. And Tyler Gravich, whatever the hell your name is, wins a Stanley Cup. Justin Schultz, Brody Myers, and Gabriel Carlson. The goaltender was Duke Wise. Duke Wise. Let me take a look at Edmonton. I didn't have to go the long way around, but I chose to. Rasmus Dahlin, up to medium franchise, 73 points. Good Lord. That's the only thing I have to say to that is good Lord. Now, the good thing is we can move on from the 2025 or 2024, 2025 season, and we can go to progress reports. Where, again, Trent is kind of locked in at an 89. Oshie's an 83, playing like an 86. Tommy Tunnell is a legit 84. We'll more than likely have to play him on the top line next year. It just makes sense, especially if we get, you look at Jake and it's not looking that good. Then again, we'll talk about that more. Actually, we'll talk about it now. He's a 73, playing like a 75. We gave up a second-round pick and a low-elite player, a low-elite grinder to get him. Is that going to prove to be worth it? I don't know. We're going to have to play him on a lower line to hope he develops, but right now it just hasn't happened. Belfort is an 80, playing like an 82. You have Anderson Dolan, up to a legitimate 80 at this point now. Rogalski's a 78. Gleason, up to a 73. Anybody else? Davey Dillman, up to a 70. And Volk, up to a 69, now at 21 years old. Down in the AHL, what do we have? We have Jerry Riddle, moving up 3 points, 2 points for Clough and Hargrave, with some decent improvement as well, +4 for our new goaltender. Connor goes up by 4. Wisniewski, Bass up by 3. 2 points for Adamski. 4 points for Ronnie Woods. The 1 point improvement for Ralph Sweetland, who will never, ever be signed. Rod Madano goes up by a point. 4 point improvement for a Braithwaite, and that does it. So the biggest story, I would say, is the lack of development for Jake Bengoa. He's looking like a bit of a bust. I think he was the 14th overall pick in the draft in which he was selected. That's not ideal for us in the slightest, obviously, to have him be where he's at right now. To be honest, it's one of the worst kind of development patterns I think I've seen as we move up. Actually, we stay the same. Never mind, excuse me. Kick rocks, Boston. We ended up having the second best odds, and we will have the second overall pick. So Nashville, I don't even understand how that works. You know what? Whatever. It's fine. If Boston got bumped, right? Boston was bumped. It was us. It was Boston, Seattle, and whoever. Should we not have been bumped down? How are we picking ahead of Boston? Is what I'm wondering. I guess just that's the way it pans out. Yeah, I don't know. I thought I'll move on, but I thought if Boston has the 4th pick, we should have had the 5th pick. But I guess that's not the way it necessarily works, and I know that now. So now I'm trying to scramble out of this situation because I look foolish. But that's okay. Scavier, Tangradi, and Saunders. Killaby, Bradley Saunders retires. The original Killaby. Unfortunately, he takes a seat. Let's take a look at the rest of our retired players as Carey Price goes down. Mason, Elliott, Bishop, and Bernier all retire. And in terms of skaters, Patrick Kane, Patrice Bergeron, Blake Wheeler, and company. I will say this. If I seem a little bit frantic today or anything like that, I normally don't record in the afternoon. I had to because I didn't have time to record at any other point in time. I have my window open because it's hot as hell in here. And yeah, people are goddamn noisy, and I don't like it. That's why I normally record at night. It's just easier to do. Couldn't do it on this occasion, and people bugged the hell out of me. So am I a little bit frantic to get this episode done? Kind of. But I'm doing what I can. Oh my God. Hainsey. Gardner. Oh baby. There's no way Hainsey's that good, right? There's no way. Let me look at WHL. Kamloops, Kelowna, Prince Albert, Lethbridge, Moose Jaw. Oh my God. Could you imagine if even if Joseph Hainsey's medium elite, which he probably will be, goddamn, is that a first round pick for the ages? Let's do this. There's not even a question, although there is a defenseman that we could also use. This will be interesting. Let's see who goes number 1 to Nashville. They take Calvert, the franchise-level defenseman, which is certainly what we could have used. I'm going to call my timeout here. Let's go ahead and make this selection. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with. So WHL, what do we have here? Let's look through all of these again because I'm paranoid, and you never know if someone would have made the jump up who is actually eligible for us to draft. Again, Spokane, Tri-City, Morgan Earl. All right, so Spokane, Tri-City, Seattle, and Everett, which brings us to Joseph Hainsey. I would really prefer a defenseman. Silverthorne, Mark Silverthorne, also have the Everett Silvertips. I mean, I can't take a grinder. There's no way. Like, the overall looks to be half decent. I can't take a grinder. There's Silverthorne, Lawrence on Red Deer West. How I wish I could use the triggers to sort through, but what are you going to do? Nolan Sawatsky? Could be half decent, but that's not really the way to go. Lucas Geispers on the Rockets. Some dude named Jared, whose last name I'm not going to pronounce. And that's it for the first round. We do have Doherty in the second round. No defenseman. So the decision is obvious. We're going for Joseph Hainsey. Do we need another goaltender necessarily? Not quite, but we don't exactly need another forward. And Hainsey could be the man. Joseph Hainsey is the pick. Joseph Hainsey is franchise, baby. Oh my God, we have ourselves a franchise goaltender here in this series. The second pick of the 2025 draft. 2 franchise players to start. Joseph Hainsey, welcome to the team. And just to give you a look now at the goaltending situation, we have some depth. We have Oshie for now. Hainsey, who knows what he'll become. And then Hargrave as well could be a half-decent option for years to come. The goaltending situation is set. We're good. We're fine. It's going to be fine. The Sea Cattle are fine. Don't worry about it. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. Earl was half-decent, but I mean, there was no option. Hainsey was the guy. Thankfully, he wasn't a starter. What a pickup for the Sea Cattle. And now the question is, I know Gardner's listed there. The question is, we know that Steve Doherty is available from the Spokane Chiefs. Do we have anybody else projected here in the second round that is eligible for us to pick? We have Hamhuis. We'll keep that in mind since we can't pin him. What about Bowman, Swift Current, and second to third round we have Watt on the Spokane Chiefs. We'll look to get Gardner in the next round. So we know Watt's kind of garbage. We know Hamhuis is half decent. So the question is, Doherty or Hamhuis? And there has been the talk, of course, of playing two-way forwards on defense if necessary, and Hamhuis could fit that role. So could Doherty. The question is Doherty medium top six? I would assume, but there's no way to know for sure. There is a way to know for sure, though, with Calvin Hamhuis. Oh boy, what do we do? Doherty's a center. The face-offs aren't going to be very good. Doherty at 6'4", Hamhuis at he's a smaller forward. Oh God, do we take the risk? Doherty's going to be a better starting overall, from what I can tell. Yeah, he's going to be a better starting overall, not by much. I'm going to go for Steve Doherty. Maybe. This could be a gigantic... You know what? No, I'm not. I'm taking the exact. I feel like Doherty's going to still be medium top six, but I can't risk it. Let's take Hamhuis with this pick. 53, which is what I was worried about. But it had to be done. What scared me is the fact that we had an exact bottom six. He was a 54. Okay, so we really didn't miss out on much. Regardless, the pick wasn't going to go that well. What scared me was knowing that there was an exact bottom six projected for that stage of the draft. That scared me off, no doubt. Tanabe, Medicine Hat. We have Eddie for Moose Jaw. From there, though, we have Gardner and Buckley, who will more than likely be the next two picks. I mean, it's not even a debate here. Gardner is the selection, Xavier Gardner, of the Spokane Chiefs. I don't expect him to be that good, and he wasn't. Medium 7th. That's a heartbreaker. An absolute heartbreaker to have him drop. Again, medium top 6 would have been, or medium, medium top 6. For a defenseman, would have been great. Didn't happen, because this game hates me, and we're not allowed to have good defensemen. Goaltenders, not a problem. Forwards, not a problem. But if we're talking defense, that is clearly going to be our biggest issue for this series. I don't know what else to do. I want to take a look, though, at something quickly here, or not. Never mind. I'll go to the... I know if you're in the draft class, I guess isn't going to help out that much, is it? That's unfortunate. All right, WHL. Let's go back here. I don't even know who the hell's available. I already looked at these two. That's not good. We have Pete Donald, who's not available. Kamloops, Portland. It's not looking too good. Junior Ronning on Red Deer. We know we have McDonald, but that's not ideal. Problem is, he's the best one left. So, Jonas McDonald, the Tri-City Americans, welcome to Seattle as we continue to add medium 7ths. I'm okay with it. They're technically better than the majority of the players that we've been dealing with, but it still doesn't help out all that much. At the end of the day, though, we do have ourselves a franchise-level goaltender, so I guess I'm okay with that. But seriously, EA, we need some defensemen, and Halischuk isn't exactly going to be a game changer. We do have Sakic that we know nothing about and is also projected to be undrafted. Let me sort here by potential. If it wants to, it doesn't. That's fine. Who do we have? So we know that none of these guys are eligible. Is there anybody undrafted? No, there's not. So we're just going to have to start guessing. I'm going to go for Halischuk. James Halischuk, the 17-year-old from the Tri-City Americans, is the pick. He is a 52. A 52. But beggars can't be choosers, can they? We have two more selections in this draft. Can we get anybody that resembles a steal? That is my question. So we have all these exact top 2s. Now, in the past, of course, we've selected these guys. Do we go for the medium 7ths? Like, is that what we're going to do here? Are we going to risk it and hope that one of these 3 are eligible and is a medium 7th? Like Adam Ashton is there, but I cannot imagine that he's a medium 7th. That's the one problem. So, I don't know, maybe Spokane's Adam Ashton is the way to go, potentially? Possibly. Or we go back to just risking it and selecting absolute nobodies and hoping that turns into a successful pick. Which, to be honest, I mean, right now if the debate is AHL level defenseman, then yeah, I mean, we might as well find another guy alongside Sakic. It could be Glenn Taves. That makes sense. Lucas Areza. Murata not available. Let's get a full list here. We'll go off of the best name, or the name that I like the most. And we have 3 players. We have to go for Gavin Sakic because his name is Sakic. So let's select the American who is hot garbage. This strategy doesn't work. It doesn't. The problem is, though, we don't have anybody better. That is the problem. So you know what? Screw it. Back to the WHL. Back to defense. And do we have anybody here? How I wish Sestito was ours. He is not. Is McKee available? It's got to be somebody. I don't want to select the high potential guys because we know those high potential guys are going to decline. It's not going to be great. We have Gibbons and just Gibbons. So say hello to our 7th round pick, Don Gibbons, the 18-year-old, is our selection. He is garbage, as you would expect, but he is not as bad as some of the other players that we have selected through the whole drafting an unknown player and hoping for the best strategy. But overall, what a draft to get a franchise-level goaltender. In addition to already having Oshie on this team, that is gigantic for this club moving forward. But the issue of not having solid defensemen to really complete this team and make this a well-rounded team is continuing to be an issue, as Oshie needs to be re-signed. Alright, so you might notice a bit of a jump cut there, a bit of an awkward break. That's because, remember the people that I mentioned that are outside making a shitload of noise? Yeah, the dog started barking at them, which I, rewarded her with a treat because she deserves it, but, still, boy, this is unfortunate. Anyway, Oshie. Now here's the thing. We can afford that contract now. But some of the players that are going to have expiring contracts soon, and including now with Tunnell, they're going to get to be a tad bit expensive. So I think because of that, we are going to look to use the 85% trick as we did. Frazier's not going to develop, but it is at least worth keeping him on roster as an AHL option, and we'll also sign Hainsey. I think he'll still be junior eligible for the season, but it's worth double-checking. We'll give Crane the max deal there. Ty Smith has never really developed, unfortunately, but we'll re-sign him. And Wyatt Wiley, again, with him capping out at a 70, you can kind of see why I'm a little bit, against. Oh my God, Jared Tishka. Yikes. Jared, I'm sorry, buddy. You gotta go. There's nothing. I mean, you're a low overall. There's nothing there. Same thing for Sweetland. You could see, though, why I wasn't exactly eager to draft another AHL top 2 defenseman, because the ceiling is quite low. I'm not even going to sign Gibbons here. Gardner. I mean, this is a mess right now in terms of our defensive situation. So let's go look at the forwards, where it's at least a little bit more of a happier situation. We will look to do the old 85% trick here to sign him up at $5.65, which is a lovely contract for him. And I guess, like I said, the question is, what do the lines look like? Maybe, just maybe, Jake Bengoa will have a decent bit of development here in this offseason. That's really the only thing we can kind of hope for. I'll let go of Luke Adam. I'll look to bring in other veterans, perhaps, or maybe I'll just bring them back. I'm honestly not sure. You know what? Let's just go ahead and sign everybody. Screw it. So Ham Hughes will get his entry-level deal. We'll go back over to the defense. Of course, we took the majority of defensemen last time. Gibbons will be signed. Gardner, Halischuk, and I think that was it in terms of unsigned players. No, we have McDonald. Sorry, McDonald. Jonas, I at least remember your first name, so that's good. The only guy we won't sign is Sakic, who, of course, is hot garbage, as have been the majority of our prospects selected, at least in terms of defense. But, in this series, it brings a new definition to the term hot garbage, because these guys have been absolutely miserable. Oshie rejected. Uh-oh. Nope. Okay, hold on. I gotta be safe here. Because I simmed to the end. Hold on. When's that last offer going through? Because I gotta start spamming B. Don't bring me to the end. Do not bring me to the end. You better stop. Thank you. That was a mini panic attack that I definitely didn't need. I never would have thought that Oshie was going to reject that contract, he could have gone to the free agent list unprotected. So what did I drop that down to before? I don't remember. Let me run the 85 again. So I dropped that down to 695. Drop it down to 7.5. At least give me somewhat of a discount to make it worth it. That's all I'm saying. Just somewhat of a discount. Please, if you would. Thank you, Oshie. And I think that was it. So a little bit of drama in the re-sign phase. It's never a bad thing, except in a series like this where there really shouldn't be any drama in the re-sign phase ever. It should be pretty straightforward, and we're good to go now. So that's nice. So, in terms of what there is left to do in this episode, there's still a couple more minutes of me just waiting for people to be loud as hell outside. That makes me, worry about the audio quality of this video. Outside of already worrying about, whether or not the video's been entertaining, worrying at all times as to whether or not the dog's gonna start barking again, worrying about the audio quality in general. You wouldn't think it would be this stressful just playing a video game. It is. It really shouldn't be. So we have $57 million in cap space, as I'll just segue out of that. Oh, Marshy, it's too good of a contract to sign you to. Lars Eller? I really don't know if I want to sign Lars Eller to that deal, man. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to bring back Tommy Cross. I have to bring back Tommy Cross, so we'll try to sign him for about $20 million. Hopefully that will go through. Who else do we have here? Cormier, Alex Killorn, as if you didn't get paid enough by Tampa, buddy. Chad Ruedel. There's got to be somebody that jumps off the page here for me, right? Sergei Kalinin. You jump back to the KHL, you're not even in the game anymore, man. Brandon Peary, was that Travis Hamonic? Oh my God, how the mighty have fallen. Travis Hamonic, you know what? You do good things charitable. You're a charitable person. You do good things charity-wise. Let's give you some money. So we're up to 40, and, we got to go Sena Akalatse, who the hockey guy gave a little bit of a shout-out to as an AHL staple, which I was very happy to see, because I've been saying the same thing about Mr. Akalatse for a bit, which is nice. I got to see him play a lot when the Portland Pirates are still a thing, so there are some players like that, where it's just the memories of Portland Pirates games, particularly from 2010 to 2014, where I was just going to games all the damn time. Players like that stick out in my memory, but so do the guys, like TJ Brennan, Luke Adam, Mark Mancari. Some of the other, Pirates greats that, you hear me mention all the time. Olympian Marc-Andre Gragnani on defense. What a team! Jonas Enroth in goal. The good old days where, I actually had an AHL team. So that was cool. But yeah, ECHL team. Maine Mariners. Hey, it's better than nothing. That should be the tagline for the team. The Maine Mariners. It's better than nothing. Which is true. It's true. God, is it true. Kurt Angle, preach it. It's so true. Anyway, let's move on. This is going to go down as one of the more strange episodes I think we've ever done here. I can imagine it going down that way. It's going to go down as a bit of a strange one. But that's okay. That's okay. What are we here for? Standards? Who said anything about standards? And see, I'm just rambling. I'm just talking right now. Not necessarily pointlessly. I mean, I'm killing time. That's all I can say. Because jump cuts are for fools, and I say that to piss off the people who are like, oh, you should use jump cuts more, and even then, it's not to piss them off. I'm just ranting and rambling, okay? I'm sorry. It's early. I wasn't able to record an episode last night, so I'm like, man, I gotta get something done this morning, and I couldn't beat the rush of people being loud as hell outside. Anyway, Hainsey's a 65. So you could argue it might be worth playing Hainsey at the NHL level. I'm gonna see what the team looks like, though, in full. Let me send down Travis Hamonic. Do we have anybody better than a 70? We have Riddle, who I believe is medium top 6. Bowden's a 7th, so Wyatt Wiley is getting the boot from the NHL squad. And then forward-wise, who do we have? We could send down Volk, and there were no other forwards. Volk's the only one that gets dropped, and it would be for Dillman, which might not be the best way to go because Volk does have that better potential. But again, there are changes that could be made. Jake Bengoa is still struggling. I am going to set this team up as I had it set up last year. Basically, though, these are the players that we have to work with. The fourth line is set. It's just a matter of the top 9 in what we look to do. You could argue, this would be a better way to go, something like this, even having Bengoa on the second line. But the Jake Bengoa, the brothers Bengoa memes are nearly done just because he is simply not developing. And then goaltending-wise, we have Wisniewski, Frazier. Okay, so our franchise boy there would technically still be down in junior, which might not be the worst thing. We'd have to get Garvin onto the team. We'd have to get Bass onto the team. Adamski as well. So we could take out Chubarov and Suglebov. Getzlaf is there. Wasn't he absolutely terrible, though? I don't think it matters. He was absolutely terrible. All right, well, let's use Chubarov, I guess. Let's use Chubarov. So that's the talent there. We'd have to resort it out. And then forward-wise as well, we'd have to sort out a couple of things. But you kind of get the big picture. It's just a matter of where to play certain players for the moment and the fact that Jake Bengoa is not developing. Now, for the simple fact that I am quite annoyed with how this episode went, but I pretty much have no choice but to just upload this and let it be what it is for now. I'm going to call it quits before I go just slap somebody for being annoying, and like obnoxiously annoying to the point where you shouldn't be that loud near my damn windows. But what are you going to do? I thank you guys for watching. I thank you for the support. Twitter, Twitch, everything's in the description. That FHM discount code's still there on Twitter. If you haven't gotten FHM4 yet, you should totally do that. Cheap plug. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.